Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm using a heart made from the molds from HappyDottingCompany. I will talk about that a little bit later. You can see there's a heart ridge on this, so I'm going to outline that ridge so that I have an inner heart, and then I can work with the leftover area afterwards. But right now we're going to work within this area. And if you're using these molds from the HappyDottingCompany, there is that ridge there that you can outline that heart shape easily. Now I'm going to draw a line down the center. Here's where I do some funky geometric made up stuff that I have no idea what I'm doing, and it ends up looking kind of cool. So if you need to slow the video down, definitely do so. This is not going to be perfect, and I'm not measuring anything. I'm simply using my ruler as a straight line, and I'm working with it by eye. So now what you want to do is make another heart shape, but it's more geometric shaped. You want to make that inside of this heart that we've already got here. So it's kind of a heart within a heart, and you have to do it with the ruler. So as you can see, I'm trying to get my inner heart shape going, and you can see this coming together. It's best way for me to explain. There's a nice, soft, smooth, rounded heart. Then there's a pointy heart with corners. That's the best way that I can explain it to you guys. So do you see that inner heart that we're working with here? I'm pointing it out right now. That's my inner heart, but it's got corners everywhere. So now I'm going to strictly work outside of that heart that we just created on the inside. We're only going to make little triangles of different sizes in the rest on the outside. So between your heart that's nice and smooth, the outer heart, and the inner heart, we're going to just make a bunch of geometric designs. The best thing to do is go from one side over to the other. Make sure you don't forget anything. Do a line here, move it over, do a line there, and just put them wherever you want. As you can see, I'm just being kind of random with it, and I am just building facets onto my gem heart that we are creating. So I always do the outer edge first, and I make sure I still have my heart, my noticeable heart shape, my geometric heart, I guess you can call it, on the inside. We're going to work with that afterwards. But first, and like I said, it's not going to be perfect. None of this is measured out at all. So I'm just letting you know that even if you don't measure it out, it's still going to look really, really beautiful in the end. I'm here to prove that to y'all. And yeah, so now I'm going from the inside of the geometric heart. I made like a center point, and I'm literally just running up those triangles like a pizza, like it kind of is cut up like a pizza. So I just go to all of those little points that I've got and bring all of those facets together inside the heart. And then it ends up looking like kind of 3D. So now I'm going to pick all sorts of different colors of red, and I'm also going to use black to make a darker red, and I'm going to use white to make lighter red. So I'm going to go just using all different shades of red. This is a berry wine color. I'm adding a little bit of black to the berry wine because I want it to be as dark as possible, because each facet is going to be a different shade of red. So whether we've darkened it with black or lightened it with white, I am going to start with my darkest color first. That's what I like to do. I use one color at a time. So I'm going with the berry wine and the black mixed together, and I'm just staying on the outer edge, not the inside heart where all those geometric lines are. Stay on the outer edge again, just like we did drawing it. We drew the outer edge first. And just pick your facets. Just stay on the outer edge with the darker colors though. We're going to lighten it up in the center, and I will show you that afterwards. I'm in no way a professional painter. I am self-taught, so if this is your first time joining my channel, I am self-taught, guys, and I am guessing at how this is supposed to be done. Judging, like I'm also a singer and I've taught myself how to sing. I go by ear with everything. I tune my guitar by ear. I don't know theory about this and how this is done. I'm literally just, I look at gemstones and I tried to make one by looking at a gemstone. Basically, I just stood back and looked at all the different shades of red. So I'm making sure that I use just different shades of red, a little bit of black to darken it, a little bit of white to lighten it. And the lighter in the center, that's what my rule is, because it actually helps it kind of go a little bit more 3D when it's a little lighter in the center. It looks like the light's hitting it in a totally different way. Now, I am going to be using just a fine paintbrush so that I can get into all those little corners. Everything is very geometric. You got to make sure you don't have any curved lines in there except for the outer heart, because there are no curved facets in this heart today. So make sure all your lines are very straight. That's why I used a ruler, although I can't stand using a ruler. I'm one of those people who doesn't like to measure things, but I've had to because of resin, so I have to make sure I measure things there. But I promise you, my family, my boys, they love my cooking, and I don't like using measuring spoons and stuff. But they love my cooking. They keep coming back for more. They probably won't ever leave because of it. But yeah, so I don't like to measure things with a ruler either. I am allergic to numbers. And so yeah, none of this has been measured out. It's not going to be perfectly even. And this is just going to show you that it still looks absolutely gorgeous, even if it's not perfect. So that's what I'm here to show you guys today. So I'm literally using all different shades of red. This one is a nice bright red. It is from Folkart and it's called Apple Red. It's so gorgeous. And it's actually like a satin finish on it. But that's not going to matter anyway, because I'm going to cover this all in resin and all finishes will look the same afterwards anyway. But as you can see, I've used the darkest color first. Then I went on to the berry wine, which is a deep red. And now I'm moving on to apple red. And then I'm going to be using some Christmas red. And then I'm going to be adding some white to it. Also, I'm going to be using some Martha Stewart candy apple, which is, it's slightly pink, but it definitely helps bring out some of the facets in this heart. Here's the candy apple one here. So I usually just go one color at a time, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to blend in a couple of the bigger areas. Just simple blending, just to give it a little bit of highlight in certain facets, which is fairly simple. And you don't really need to do that because it'll still look beautiful if you don't, but I like to do that just to kind of give it a little more realism. You know what I mean? So I am going through with this, it's like a pinkish red, this candy apple from Martha Stewart. And yeah, I'm just picking a couple of different facets to paint that color. And then I'm going to switch and make it a little bit lighter in some areas as well. I usually do go back afterwards to make sure everything's been covered. Make sure you can't see my pencil lines. But you really got to kind of keep all those lines there so that you know where you're supposed to paint. You could also do like a paint by number kind of thing if it helps you. Put like a dot of each color that you're going to use in each facet so you know which color you need to put in which spot. Or put like just a little line of the color in each one so you know where you want your colors to be. You can always plan it out that way. But as you can see, I'm just kind of being random because I'm good at that. I'm good at being random. And I might add like a facet here and there just by putting a line through the area. If I want to add like an extra facet anywhere, you can always do that. The more you have around the outer edge, it kind of looks more 3D, I guess. So I'm using a little bit of red and adding a little bit of white, and I'm gonna just lighten it up all the way through. And we're gonna just keep going back and forth and lightening up and painting different facets until we almost get to a white. So this is pretty easy, and you don't need a lot of different colors in order to make these gemstones. So that's what's fun about this. So I'm making sure that it's a nice thick coat too. And I'm getting the pencil lines covered right up. And see, it's surprising how all of these colors end up looking like a ruby gem. Like, it's just very fascinating to me. If you just use one color and lighten it and darken it to your liking and put it in random places, it looks like it's a glittering, gorgeous gem. And you'll be very proud of yourself when you're done this. The drawing in of all the lines and everything, it really does get easier. I've made a couple of these over the years, and I have really improved. Now I have a method to my madness with the design on the stone. Before, I just put facets all over the place, and there was no really direction that they were going in, and it just didn't look right to me. So I kept staring at pictures of gems, and finally I was like, yes, that's why. You have to do an inner heart. You can't just do facets all over it. There has to be a geometric design to it. So that's when I realized I needed to make like a geometric heart in the center of this heart, and then work off of that to build my facets. I hope that this has been made clearly enough for you guys, slowly enough. I hope that I've explained it well enough so that you're able to also learn something from this and walk away feeling inspired. That's my goal. So I'm making sure that I keep my lines nice and straight, which is one of the reasons you want to use like a fine lining brush. So if you need help with your fine lining brush, instead of going out and buying really expensive brushes that still may not do the trick, try my fine lining brush tutorial on my channel. Click on the videos link, and all of my videos are there, over 100 of them. And in there are different types of brushes that I've kind of fixed up and altered into my liking to make my life a little bit easier. So they are going to be available for you guys, as well as a blending brush and my resin tutorial. And the type of resin that I use is completely non-toxic. There's a lot of people who've been like, I can't use that stuff. It really hurts my lungs, or it's so bad for you. Art resin, the brand that I use, is actually non-toxic and food safe. You can eat off of it. Your kids can make crafts out of it as well, and it's completely non-toxic. So here I am blending just a little bit. I'm making one end of my pizza slice. It's going to be a little bit lighter, but then it's going to get darker as you get closer to the center. But that's just to kind of get some, it looks like a little bit of light is going through the gem. I'm going to lighten just a couple of random spots, but I'm not going to do a whole lot of blending. You're going to still see all of my brush strokes and everything all the way until the end, until I resin. So here it is. All the facets are colored in. I've kept lighter ones like white, almost white in the center as well. It's going to look so beautiful. I'm going to actually add a little bit of highlight to this little dark berry wine area so that it looks like there's light shining through that side as well. And you'd be surprised, just kind of, it might not look like a gem to you, but take a step back and look at it. Take a glance, look away, take another glance, take a picture and take a look at it. It's going to look like a gem when you are done. As long as you did what I'm doing, it's going to look like a gem, I promise. So you can see the little areas that I've just added a tiny bit of highlight. I'm making sure that all my lines are straight. So if you mix like a lot of different reds up together, make sure you use the correct red. If you're going back to fix anything, make sure you're using the right red. Because I'll tell you, I have messed that up in the past. So I'm gonna post on my Facebook page my old renditions of these types of gems. Oh, there's Maple. And she wants to say hi, but no, I am not letting her right now because I'm busy with you guys. So I'm focusing on you guys. So does this look a little bit like a gem, guys? Can you kind of see it? Take a step back and see the beauty in our ruby heart that we've created. Now, you can do this on anything as long as you can make the shape of a heart. You can do this on any surface, any size rock, any shaped rock, any type of stone, tile, wood, paper, canvas. You can do this all because I've just shown you how. You don't need to do it on a heart-shaped stone, just so you are aware. So you can see when it's shiny and glossy, you can't really see the facets and see the gem, but when it's all matte and there's no glare off of it, it does actually look like a gem, which I'm very happy with. I'm pleased. So now I am outlining with my fine lining brush with black paint. We're going to cover the rest of this heart in black. I'll cover it in black, let it dry, and then we're going to add some really nice gold work to it. It kind of looks like lace, I guess. Someone did say filigree. It resembles filigree, so that's kind of cool. I'll take that. But yeah, this is what I am doing so far, very carefully not to wreck any of our heart that we've just spent so much time on. And then, of course, let it dry before you get out the gold, or else you're just going to make a mess of things. So I am now going to outline in a nice, bold, thick line with gold. You can use silver too if you prefer silver over gold, or rose gold, or whatever you want, whatever your gem heart desires. How about that? I'm sure you guys have missed my witty personality. So I have outlined it. I am now going to use a cute little half teaspoon. This is where I use my measuring spoons. This is what I use them for. That's why I don't use them in the kitchen. They are to create cute little, I call them petals, but they're not really petals. They're like half circles, semicircles off the side. Make sure you keep them so that they're actually going to line up nicely. I go from one side to the other, back and forth. And I've got it on wax paper because it really does just kind of move around a lot easier for me when it's sliding around on wax paper. So if you can see the wax paper there, that is why. It's got a nice slippery surface. The wax paper slips, but the rock doesn't. So yeah, it makes my life easier. So now that I have my little half circles or semicircles, I'm going to outline those with my fine lining brush and gold. I'll probably do 2 coats because I want to make sure that you can see them really well. And I did 2 littler semicircles at the top of the heart because I couldn't fit 2 of the standard sized. So here's my second coat. And now I'm going to use a dotting tool, and I'm going to find where each petal or semicircle meets each other, and I'm going to stay outside of the heart. Make sure you don't have your gold overlap any of your facets. I'm just adding a big dot where all of these semicircles meet each other. And then we're going to be adding in a second swoop or semicircle. I'll show you afterwards. And then adding little lines to it with my same fine lining brush. See, there we go. We're kind of making like a crescent moon in there now. Best way for me to explain things to you guys. I try so hard to make this easy so that I'm not posting this and nobody can paint it, right? So I'm trying to make this as easy as possible. And I've practiced a few times now so that I can show you as easy as possible. Now make sure your consistency of your paint for your gold when you're making little lines like this, make sure it's not too thick, not blobby, and try and stay within the lines like when we're kids and we're coloring. Got to try and stay within the lines. If you don't, though, you can always go back with black paint and do some cleanup, which is always a good thing. So even these little semicircles here close to the center, I'm putting some lines in there. Make sure you are very careful with the smaller areas. I'm just going to go over my dots again because I did snag little bits of them while I was putting in my second semicircle. So I'm just making sure that these gold dots here are nice and bold still. They haven't flattened out or sunk in or anything like that. What do you think? Does this look like a gem, guys? I really want to know what you think. I'm doing a little dance for you before the resin comes in because this stone was very excited to be resin today. Oh, I'm going to kind of play a game with you here. It's going to peekaboo. Peekaboo. All right, enough of that. Here we go. What do you think? See, the resin takes away all your little paint lines, your brush strokes, and it gives everything a nice even surface, and it just gleams like a ruby heart, guys. Let me know what you think of it, please. And see, even if you don't have a heart-shaped stone, you can still try your best making a heart shape on there and working with it that way. So I did a blue one. It doesn't really look as nice as the red one do. The red ones do, and here's its twin sister. Because you know I can't just make one. These things are gorgeous. You know it. And they will be going into my Etsy shop as well. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun for me to create it and bring it to life for you. I love you. I will see you again soon. Keep painting. Don't forget to share.